Welcome back to Inside South Florida. Well, the holidays are here, and with them come a whole bunch of legal issues, some specific to South Florida. Here's attorney Sabrina Visram with GMV Law Group. Sabrina, it is good to see you. Welcome to our show.
Nice
How are you?
To see you too. I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good. Well, it's holiday season, fun season, right?
Yeah, the best.
The best, but there are some things we need to be aware of, and we're going to touch on a few of them today from a legal standpoint. Let's start with toys, okay? So parents are buying toys for their kids. What are some things that you think that parents and kids need to be aware of?
Toys are the best part of the holiday season. You know, kids enjoy getting them, we enjoy giving them, but we want to make sure that the kids are safe when they're playing with these toys that we're giving them. A lot of injuries that we see at GMV are lacerations, abrasions, bruises, burns, choking, all from toys. And we don't want that to happen to your children this holiday season. Okay,
so God forbid if something does happen to your child because of a toy, as a parent, what can you do?
If something does happen, the first thing to do is seek medical treatment. We want to make sure your child is okay. Secondly is to contact an attorney. Contact our office, we can help you. The attorneys at GMV do have some guidelines that we like to give parents when buying toys. I'll kind of give you a list of them. Most importantly, make sure it's age appropriate. There's an age on the box. It's there for a reason. Make sure if you're buying a toy for a 3-year-old, it's appropriate for a 3-year-old. Okay. Secondly, if there's a recall on the toy, make sure you pay attention to it. A lot of the toys these days you can register online. By registering online, they will tell you the recalls. That way you're preventing any future injuries to your child. If there is a recall, you know that, take the toy, throw it away, do whatever you have to do with it. We do have a little rule at GMV. If the toy fits through a toilet paper tube, it's probably a choking hazard. So again, make sure that if it is a choking hazard, it's age appropriate.
Right, and don't get your kids an actual toilet paper tube.
Yeah, don't do that.
That's just a lousy gift.
Yeah, they'll be bummed about that.
Right.
If they get a bike, if they get a scooter, if you can afford to buy them a helmet and all the safety, pads, that would be great. Again, just don't want to risk a contusion.
I want to jump in with something that you said. You said obviously talk to a doctor first. Legally, how important is it to have some sort of doctor note or doctor diagnosis?
It's extremely important because without that, your attorney can't really do anything for you because there's no proof of what we call in the legal field damages. Okay. And that's what we need to help prove your case and get your medical bills paid for and your child's pain and suffering. So it's important to go to the doctor, get all the documentation, get all the notes, get all the recommendations, and keep that handy.
All right, we have a lot to cover, so I want to shift to holiday parties because there will be a ton of them, and some of our viewers will be throwing them. You throw a holiday party, people drink, a lot of stuff ensues. Let's talk sort of a few different levels here. As a party host, what are some things you need to be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, families are throwing parties all throughout the holiday season. It's the best time of the year for that. But there's some liability as a host that you could incur. Luckily in Florida, if you are a social host and someone comes to your party and they drink, they get into a car, get into an accident, you're not liable. However, if you are a social host and there's adults there and there's kids there and the kids are drinking, kids meaning minors under 21 years old, they get into a car, they hurt someone, you can be liable.
Okay. Can you plead ignorance? Can you say, well, I was throwing the party, I didn't know the kids were drinking, we were in the other room watching football?
Technically, the statute has to be knowingly.
Okay.
Knowingly give alcohol to a minor. However, that's a really high burden to kind of overcome because if you have alcohol there, you should be responsible for who is consuming that alcohol. If you don't want minors to be consuming it, maybe you have it in a different room where the minors aren't located. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely important to just cover all your grounds. If you're going to have alcohol, if you're going to have adults there with their kids there, teenagers that might be wanting alcohol, try and do your best to keep the alcohol out of sight, out of mind. Also, if you see that they are drinking, and they do get into a car, say you didn't see them actually drinking, but you see signs of impairments, you could be liable.
Okay, that's interesting. What about if you're not even there? If your kids are home from college or whatever. We'll talk about what happens at college in a minute, but let's say you're at your house, you're not there, the parents are not there, but there's a party going on and kids are drinking, mom and dad are out of the house, and then a kid gets drunk and hits somebody. Parents liable there? Or?
Yeah, we see this all the time. Kids throw house parties. They have big ragers and people come and drink and then they drive and they leave. Absolutely. The owner of the house can be liable for any injuries that occur as a result of them driving drunk and
wow, that's a bummer for a parent.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Got to keep the kids on lockdown.
Apparently. And then what about at college? If your child is at college and they're in a fraternity or sorority and it's the same deal. There's a party and people are drinking. Who can be liable there? Can the kids be liable? Can the parents back home be liable?
Well, technically, it's the kids. After 18, you're not a minor in the sense that legally, but you're a minor in the sense of drinking. You're not allowed to consume alcohol. So if you have a house party and someone is 20 years old and they're hosting the house party and there's kids drinking, there's minors drinking, 18 years old, 20 years old, whatever, that person throwing the party could be held liable for, the injuries caused by any guests at their party.
Let's talk about drinking and driving. So now we've sort of kind of led into that. Now we know what might happen if you let people get behind the wheel, but they get behind the wheel. And if if one of our viewers is hit by a drunk driver, what are some things you recommend for them?
Okay, I just want to backtrack to one thing
Sure.
on the social host. I just want, parents and social hosts to know what could happen if they are found liable. Civilly, they'll have to end up paying for their medical bills and any other damages, which could be pain and suffering, loss of enjoyment of life. You could be liable for that. Criminally, they can also be liable. So if you have an open house party, say no one gets injured, but you get caught, it's considered a second-degree misdemeanor, and it could be punishable by 60 days in jail. If, for example, the kid comes to your party, they're drinking alcohol, they get behind a car, they hit someone and cause serious bodily injury or death, that could be punishable by 364 days in jail. So it's serious, so you just want to make sure that you guys are aware, because I don't want that to ruin your holiday
Definitely
season.
be vigilant and diligent about it.
Right. Now back to the DUI. Just like in any car accident, if you get into a car accident, first things first is check for the injuries. You want to make sure that you and your passengers are okay. That's the most important, more important than anything else. If they need hospital attention, please get the EMS to come, take them to the hospital if that's what you think they need, if their injuries are serious enough. Secondly, call 911. It's important to always get a police report. Again, if you do decide to go to an attorney, that police report is imperative. It's imperative. So get the police report. 3, if you can, if there's any witnesses, get any of the witnesses' information, phone numbers, full names. That way, if you do come to an attorney, we can always ask them if there's an issue of how the accident happened. The next step that we have is to take pictures. Take pictures of your car, take pictures of the other cars, take pictures of any debris on the scene. That way we can document, the injuries, the accident scene, the property damage, all of that. And lastly, call a lawyer. Call GMV, we'll help you. It's a confusing process, but we'll make it as easy as possible so that you can focus on your injuries.
Okay, well, let's get the phone number, but before we do, last question. If someone gives you a really lousy gift, can you sue?
I wish. I've tried in the past, but I don't think it's possible.
Socks again? Come on, man. Awesome to have you here. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for having me.
And how can people reach you guys?
Okay, you can reach us at our toll-free number, 1-888-GMV-7200, or on our office line, 954-530-6206.
Sabrina, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
You got it.
Bye.